Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the party. This is the Blueshirt Barn Hockey. I'm Jerry Spangenberg, and this is Tom Murphy.
How we doing tonight?
We are we are coming on here tonight. We're going to do a little Q&A on some of these questions and responses that we had, and we're really glad, we're really happy, we're getting a lot of responses on here and a lot of questions. We like all the answers. We like all the questions. We want to keep it up. Whether you're a Ranger fan or you're not a Ranger fan, we like all the interaction because we're trying to create a hockey community here, and we talk about the Rangers, but we also will talk about other teams on here. So we like the interaction. Keep it up. Great. We're going to talk about a few things on here, especially the Mike Sullivan vetoing the Detroit Red Wing trade. Well, here's the thing. I got a couple questions here. Did I miss the part about Sullivan vetoing a trade to Detroit? Yeah, they just hired him to veto trades. Yes, I hear you, and I know I see the title, but if you think Mike Sullivan does not have any say in this, you're wrong. Because ultimately, Chris Drury has the final say, but those are BU boys, and they stick together. And Mike Sullivan was brought in here for a reason, and his reason is to win a Stanley Cup because he's had longevity. He's won two with Pittsburgh. He's going to have a say. He's going to have a say in who moves and who doesn't. He personally contacted Mika Zibanejad to have a conversation with him. So to me, that tells me something's going on there, and maybe he did step in, and maybe he's putting a kibosh on it because he sees something that he wants, or it could go the other way. But that's how we see it. Tom, I'm going to leave it to you. What's your thoughts?
I mean, listen, Zibanejad controls this ultimately. He has a full
Yep.
no trade, so if he doesn't want to play ball, he doesn't have to play ball. Obviously, you don't want it to like spin into that mess with Truba last year. He has a full no trade, so he can't be exposed to waivers. So if he's not willing to waive it, and I'm sure that'll come up in the next coming weeks, once the season's over and the draft gets closer, and you're going to hear like the whole thing was a lot of people speculated, some people speculated Detroit because there's a lot of Swedish guys on Detroit. Obviously, Zibanejad is Swedish. He played on the national team this year at the World Championship. So, of course, there's going to be speculation. And there's also a
Yes.
million other
Yes.
trade speculation uh,
Yeah.
posts and things right now. You keep
There's a
seeing the
lot of
Z.
chatter going on.
Keandre Miller's getting moved. The Zegras for Lafreniere thing is back on. So it's like,
Yep.
you're going to hear a million things from now until the draft and free agency starts. So
Yep.
I don't think anything's like too far fetched, and you never know.
Yep.
There could be like something out of the blue that you're not even thinking about right now. Like a guy like Panarin's in the last year of his deal. Maybe
Yep.
he wants a change of scenery or play for a team that's more of a contender. You know what I mean? Who knows? Like it's those are the conversations they're
We
going to
know
have. Of
there's probably already done deals just waiting to happen
course,
at this point that we're not seeing. But
people
we
talk.
do know that Mike Sullivan was in contact with Mika Zibanejad, and we know he's obviously talking to Chris Drury. And and the thing of it is here is you have a team that didn't make the playoffs, and you have a goalie that's so highly paid, and I'm sure that pisses off Dolan to no end that he has
Oh
the
yeah.
highest paid goalie in NHL sitting home this summer because it
hmm
makes me angry
And
that
they acquired J.T.
you're
Miller.
and you acquire JT Miller, and he clearly has made it known that he's not happy. But
Yeah.
you're not going to get this team to offload all of their players
No.
because they're going to reshape this team, not dump and refuel. Because
No.
they brought JT Miller in for a reason, and they paid this goalie for a reason. I see some guys saying that they should get rid of Fox, they should get rid of Miller, they should get rid of Lafreniere, they should get rid of Kreider, they should get rid of Zibanejad, and they should get rid of Igor. The reality is, Igor's not going anywhere. That's who
No.
they're building this team around. He's
hmm
he's the number one that this team's getting built around. You're going to see guys move. 100%, you're going to see
Oh yeah.
guys move. My I saw Saravelli came on today, and I believe it was him or Friedman said that Keandre Miller is in the talks, and there's something big
Yeah.
going on with him right now. So you may see him go, you may see Lafreniere go, and you may see Kreider go. And Zibanejad is another big one. If Kreider goes, then his buddy here may
Could
may
do.
go too.
it's like I was saying, you see so much stuff right now, like with all these trades and stuff like that. But if you think about it, they have a little under $9 million under the cap right now. The Rangers, I believe it's 8.7 or 8.8 is the exact figure. So you have Miller, who's restricted, Rempe, who's restricted, Cooley, who's restricted, Zach Jones. Let's just say, for argument's sake, you move Zach Jones. All right. That $9 million is gone. And you're probably over that $9 million if you pay those three guys by a lot. So
Yep.
somebody else is going here. Like
Yeah.
it's coming. Like it's just
Yep.
who's going, we don't know yet, but like it's definitely gonna happen. Like
More more than
they're
likely,
gonna be busy.
more than likely, Adam Fox is going to stay on this team.
Yes.
He's been good. Who knows what happened last year if Fox or all these guys were a part of a mutiny or it was injuries with Fox. Who knows? But this team is going to change and is going to change for the better. And Sullivan is going to put in his 2 cents, whether he wants those guys or he doesn't want those guys. So, yeah, he can veto some of these trades that are going out this door.
One thing, that guy does make some good points though about some of his drafts, and I brought this up, how they have like no centers in their pipeline right now. The Rangers,
Yep.
very little. Like all these years when you were rebuilding and doing all this stuff, you didn't like you had this like log jam of wings, and none of them even play the right side. But it's just he's right in what he's saying, and at the same point in time, you have no like NHL ready defenseman in the minors right now. You traded Mancini in the Miller trade, like I get that, but at the same point in time, like if you trade Miller away, like I keep saying to people, okay, you're going to trade Miller, and he actually had surgery a couple weeks ago, so he probably won't be ready to start the season.
Yep.
And that's great. You're going to trade Miller. Who's replacing that 20 minutes a night? It's not coming from Hartford
Yep.
right now. I doubt it anyway. So where are you getting that from? You're obviously going to have to acquire somebody from outside the organization to come in here and fill that void. So
Yep.
it's, they have a lot. He has a lot of work to do this
A
offseason, and he
lot of
better get it
work.
right. A lot
And
of
it
work.
better get done before the season starts because we can't have another Jacob Trouba
New.
incident going on because it's going to loom over the team and we're going to have
Mhm.
another mutiny going on.
You
And
know,
it's going to build around some of these guys. There needs to be some strong defensemen coming in here, and we're got to get centers coming in here. And
yeah,
this gentleman was right because he said that you're going to have a logjam over here on your wings, and
yeah.
he's right, and
And
that's
the
what they
messed
need.
up part, the messed up part is none of them are natural right wings. Like Ottoman and Berard, they've tinkered with them playing the right side. Now Ottoman seems like he can play the right side, but the way like the way Laviolette handled these guys when they come up here, they actually seem like they start getting a little traction. Then they're scratched.
Nope.
It's just no way to handle it. Like
Nope.
I've never seen an organization handle young players the way they do. It's
Yeah, and
unbelievable.
he was supposed to be good with his young players, and he was absolutely worse, I think, than Gallant.
Yeah, when he was in Nashville, he played a lot of young guys, and they went to the final. They lost to
Yeah.
Pittsburgh and Mike Sullivan, but he had a lot of younger guys in the lineup. Like Zach Jones was another guy. Come in, he put a couple of good games together. Next thing you know, he's scratched for
Yeah.
Vakanainen, like
And he
and
was
things.
scoring, he was moving the puck. I mean, it's I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
There's something that we weren't seeing, but what I was seeing on the ice was a guy who was playing hard and was making things happen
He's trying at least. Like Vakanainen, he's like a 6 or 7 defenseman. Like how is he playing over him?
over
Like,
Zach
and I'm
Jones.
not saying Zach Jones is Bobby Orr either, but like at the same point,
But he's
he
better.
brings something to the table, and it's like you see the guy showing up every night, and he's been patient. He kept his mouth shut, and all he kept
Working
doing is
hard.
getting
Yep.
kicked. Yeah, and he kept getting kicked. Scratched, moved. It's like so. I don't know if they keep him Sullivan. They say he's a great communicator. He's got a lot of repair work to do with him. That's for sure.
And Adam Fox going along back to that for a second. You said earlier that Ryan Lindgren was like the worst thing there because he had like bricks on his feet skating back, and I think he was hurting Fox.
I did. I feel bad for Ryan Lindgren on some levels because I just think the way he plays has caught up to him at a younger
Yeah,
age,
he was
and
good.
but yet this coach continued to play him 20 something minutes a night.
Yeah,
And you're like, I really don't understand the past coaching staff and what they were looking at with that man-to-man defense all year
Oh,
was a disaster
atrocious.
all
Yeah.
year. Like after a couple months, you would think, hey guys, maybe we need to switch this up and play different
Yeah,
or play
do a
zone.
zone
You
defense because guys were getting
you
confused on who they're supposed to be picking up. You got guys left open in the slot.
and you have a team that's been together for a while and they look lost in their own end. Like there
Yup.
were no adjustments, no nothing, and it's just like what the hell are you guys doing over there?
He
Like
kept
it's
playing it like it was just gonna like magically
oh yeah,
work, but
it's going to work eventually.
after a season and a half of letting your goalie, hold you into every game,
You
it caught
gave up
up.
the most high danger chances in the league this year, or one of them. You were one of the top five, and it's every night you saw it. Just busted plays,
It
busted
definitely caught
coverage.
up.
Oh
It
yeah,
definitely caught up. And okay, so I'm going to read a little bit more of this guy's comment. If Drury drafts centers this year, the team is doomed for a long time because typically it takes a draft pick 3 years from their draft to start making an impact in the NHL. Otter is on his fourth year since the draft and still has zero success. Miller, Mika, and Trocheck are all going to be 35 and 36 by that time. So I agree with him. You're talking a few years before
yeah.
these draft picks start picking up. You know
Well,
what I mean?
most of the guys you draft are 18. They're basically like still in high school. Some of these kids. So you think that all these guys at 18 are ready to come in the NHL and play? Like
Yeah.
it doesn't happen. It happens, but it's rare.
Yeah.
Look at just not that he has a great team around him, but just to switch gears a little bit. Look at Bedard in Chicago. He's this big prospect, this, that, and the other thing. I mean, it's not been great. You know what I mean? And again, I know the team around him stinks, but it's like I just look at San Jose. They look like they're actually moving forward a little bit. Chicago looks like they're going back.
He says, in my opinion, that by the end of the draft, you will know what our future is. I, as a longtime Ranger fan, know with the absolute certainty it will be bad. We will probably keep the pick in the draft, a goalie at 12th. Because that's what the best player available at the time of the pick is. The philosophy of the draft of the best player at the time of the pick,
Don't
regardless.
reach.
Need is what constantly puts a team at a disadvantage. If
Yeah,
you would just draft to need, we wouldn't
yeah.
have an issue. Yeah.
It. Even like the goalie thing, for instance. You re-sign Jonathan Quick. He's pushing 40. You have Dylan Garand, who's had a pretty good junior minor league career. Like, are we ever going to see him play, or are you just going to keep
Yeah.
re-signing Jonathan Quick? Like,
Yeah.
at some point, you have to groom a young goaltender like they did with Talbot behind Lundqvist.
Yep.
And it's like,
Same thing with Sturkin.
and it, and like I said, they just, and I think Jonathan Quick has been a good pickup for the Rangers, no doubt. Has played really well. Like nothing against him or anything like that, but at some point you have to get younger, and then if Garand comes up here and shows he can at least be a backup, that's an asset you could flip because
Yep.
obviously Igor's not going anywhere. So what do you do? Like they just the way they mismanage their young players, it's not good.
Yeah, we're heading down a bad road, just like the
Yeah,
Islanders in Pittsburgh. But
yeah, and it's just like you just look at it and you're like are you afraid to play some of these guys? Like you just said, Othman's been in the pipeline for like 4 years now. Like by now he should start having like a role on this team, unless you totally missed. And there's some people that aren't crazy about him as far as a prospect. So we'll see. I mean Berard too. I think Berard could have a role on this team, but he has to play. Like
I
you have.
honestly think Othman and Berard are two key players to catch us up to Florida because Othman's got that toughness, and he just once he finds what he's looking for, the
Yeah,
goals are going to come.
yeah.
And
That's the thing. He's kind of snake bit a little bit last year, and he's looking over his shoulder too. And it's hard to when you're playing 6 minutes a night or whatever he's getting. You know what I mean? Like it's you see this they'll play during the first and second period, and then like the third period they're nailed to the bench. Like
yeah,
if the
that
guy's playing well, let him play.
so bad for their confidence, and it's
Yeah,
so bad for their game. It just
It's
It's not good, and
they've done this.
I hope the damage can be fixed and the team can be recovered. That's what I'm hoping for. And this guy's right; it could be years, but I honestly think that this year with a new coach coming in, he it could go south. It
Yeah,
100% could go south.
good.
But I've seen this guy and I've seen what he can do, and I think that he can put a really good team together. And
You know,
Drury better not screw this up because this is it.
in Pittsburgh, he played a young Jake Gensel. He gave some of those younger guys a role on that team that won championships. So, y- you have to give the as hard as Tortorella can be on people. He even said he's like, these guys cannot be sitting up in the press box hanging out. He goes, they have to play. And if they don't play here, they have to go back to Hartford and play.
Yep.
You can't just
Yeah.
have these guys sitting around, you
You got
know.
to keep them playing. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like I said, their lack of depth at center is crazy. Like I don't know when you just go back and look at their drafts. Like the one draft a couple of years ago, I know Drury drafted like four centers, but we'll see where that goes. Because like this guy was saying, and he's right. It takes time to develop these players. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's not like you're drafting the first pick where you're getting a Crosby or a Malkin or an Eric Lindros type player where they're like a generational talent. So it's like, but the way they handle their young players, it's always been bad. The Rangers, they're just they mishandle a lot of young guys, and then they go other places and they're good. And you're like,
Yeah.
how did that happen?
We got a lot of them waiting to come up and are hungry. So
and if you're going to start making trades and reshaping this team, any sport that has a salary cap, you have to play young players. You have to have that pipeline where you're flipping players and stuff like that because that's how you keep your cap in a good situation. You know what I
yep.
mean? People,
Yep.
if you're going out on the open market, like for instance, look at your three top centers: Trocheck, Miller, and Zibanejad. Okay, Miller was an original draft pick of the Rangers. Trocheck wasn't, and neither was Zibanejad. You acquired them from outside the organization, so
Yep.
you know it's not great.
And I seen him like this same comment where he said to get rid of everybody in Igor so they can entice a Connor McDavid or a Jack Eichel.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's right to just kind of open up all that space and get rid of everybody
Dolan will never do that.
to bring in a McDavid. I would love to have Connor McDavid. There ain't no lie, or Jack Eichel. Jack Eichel is to me a possibility. Connor
I do
McDavid,
too.
I do not think so.
No, look, like I said earlier, Panarin's contract comes off the books next year. So if his contract's off the books and you can move some of these other guys out, all of a sudden, does Eichel want to stay in Vegas? I don't know. Like maybe he really likes it there. I'm not sure, but I know a couple of years ago when he was still in Buffalo, they said his preferred destination was Boston or New York. And Buffalo put the kibosh on that. They said that's not happening. We're shipping him out west. So, we'll see. But it's,
You got to think too. You're getting an extra $10 million in cap space this year. So if Kreider's moved, and the possibility of Lafreniere, the talks of him going to Montreal, and then talks of
or
maybe
Anaheim.
Miller going, but I mean even right there, if Lafreniere goes to Anaheim, who do you think they're going to bring back? That Trevor Zegras kid. That
Yeah.
that would be what I
That's
would be
the
thinking.
that's the hot name. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and
But
that kid is a New York kid too, so he wants to come here.
the thing about Anaheim now though with Quenneville there, can Quenneville calm the waters there a little bit and talk to some of these guys and they buy into him? Maybe they'll be like, you know what, I'll give him a chance because he's won.
Right.
That's also something to look at. And Zegras, he's made it clear he hasn't been real happy in Anaheim. So, and he's also had some injuries over the past couple of years. So, that's
And
something else to look at.
regardless, even if they put Lafreniere into Montreal, if that's the route they go that way, that
Mm.
opens up for Jack Eichel to come in. So there's a possibility of two big players and two good players coming in this summer. But it's got to
Next summer.
happen. Yeah. I'm sorry, next summer. Keandre Miller is another one. So you're gonna see, we're gonna see some big moves. I'm telling you. So
I
it,
think that I honestly believe the Rangers are going to be busy this offseason. I
yeah,
do.
and Drury knows how bad he screwed up last
Yeah,
summer, and
he
he's
did.
got to make up for it, and he's got to make sure, like we said, it's got to be done before the season starts. Because if not, we're
Uh,
gonna just into it. It's just gonna roll right into next season.
and then you're putting this coach in a bad position too, because
Yep.
then you have all this turmoil and back talk and all the. Then the media
Already.
gets involved. Then the media gets involved, and it becomes this whole. It just spirals out of control like it did last year.
Yep, and he's already got a bad rap like right off the beginning. So it's you got to start fresh this year. You got to
Yeah.
start new. I've been saying it, but when the Rangers won the cup 2 years before, they won the President's Trophy, made it to the Eastern Conference Final. They got knocked out, and then the next year they didn't make the playoffs, and then the following year they won the Stanley Cup. So I'm just putting it out there. 2 years ago, we won the President's Trophy, we made it to the Eastern Conference Final, got knocked out, didn't make the playoffs this past year. You may see it happen. I know it's a long shot, but
Yeah.
I believe it.
The Rangers have to just for one they have to clean the slate here and get everyone on the same page. I mean that's the first thing they have to do.
Yeah, so I believe that you're going to see a different team this year. I believe you're going to see a lot of
Oh,
new
it's
stuff.
it's going to totally get reshaped this off season.
We'll take. I mean, we're running to 22 minutes. I'll take like one or two more questions here. How about Fox was always overrated. The rest of the team, minus a select few, should be gone. Mainly the big names. Chano, good gents, good. Keep up the good work. Yes, we kind of answered that.
Yep.
The other one I saw was something about Trocheck being named captain. Rangers need to name a Cooley captain. Lose Fox, Miller's Zibanejad, Kreider tired of their uninspired play.
Mm.
I
I mean
think JT Miller is going to be named the next captain of this team. Mark
that
my
could be
words.
too.
I
I
don't think it's
I've
going to be
seen that.
Trocheck.
Yeah. I mean, I know some people say Trocheck is kind of pushed for it. I mean, we'll see. Him and Miller are really good friends. They grew up together, so I don't think Trocheck would have a big problem with that. I mean, maybe he would. I don't. I kind of doubt it, but we'll
I
see how
think
that goes.
I think he is growing up and he's holding everybody accountable now. And I think
He's a different
for
player.
yes, I think I know there's a lot of bad stuff happened in Vancouver and a lot of guys want out of
Mm.
there, but he
Vancouver's a mess. I'm telling
yeah,
you.
I honestly don't think JT Miller was a problem out there. I think he is a good thing for this team to hold some of these guys accountable that are being lazy. And this mutiny, whatever happened with these guys this year against Drury, it's going to end. And I'm
Mm.
telling you, they put a kibosh on it by announcing that Drury was extended to a contract. So it's letting this whole team know you are
He's
not
not
in
going anywhere.
charge. Yeah, he's not going anywhere, and you are not in charge of this team, and you are not going to run another coach out of here. And
Yeah.
that's why they went and got Sullivan because of his tenure in Pittsburgh, and he's won 2 cups. So
And Dolan is a funny guy. If he likes you and you're in his little inner circle, you're not going anywhere. You saw it with Sather. I mean, think about it. Sather hired an ex-Islander who didn't last 1 year here, and he kept his job. They didn't make the playoffs the first 4 or 5 years Sather was here, and he still kept his jobs because Dolan likes him. And
mhm.
that's the way he's a loyal guy to people he likes. It's just that's and he obviously he came out publicly and said Drury's not going anywhere. So whether that's good or bad, whether that can change in 2 years, we'll see. But obviously, if the losing and this, controversy continues, then there's going to be a change at some point. But it's right now, it's not happening.
Yep. Hey, we like it.
Speaking of
Bring it.
other teams, real quick, Edmonton up 3-1 on Dallas. That series is not looking too good for the Stars right now, and Carolina's up 2-0 on Florida. And Florida got back a
Wow.
couple of their players tonight. Mikola's back in, Reinhardt's back in, but right
I
now
I said it.
Carolina's
I said it on game 4. I think it was when I said the ice was being tilted a little bit toward into Florida's zone. Carolina was bringing it on, but then once Florida scored, it kind of like folded them like a lawn chair. However, the last game they came out and they played their
game three. You
game.
mean game three?
Yeah. They
Yeah.
came out the last game, Carolina, and played their game. They kept the puck away from Bobrovsky. They got it deep. They were really kind of taking it to them, and I haven't really been able to watch yet. So I'm going to be going and watching right after we're finished here.
Yep.
So we'll see.
They're in a first intermission right now, anyway. So
Okay. So anyway, thank you for all the comments. We see them, we like them. We're trying to build a hockey community. We're a small channel, just trying to grow it. We talk hockey all day at work, and we just kind of want to come on here and talk hockey and share it with other people. And we wanted the comments because we want to build a community. So we hope more of you like and subscribe. We appreciate all the love and all the other comments. We're gonna answer everything we can, and we're gonna try and keep putting out more videos because we see that we see we're doing a couple of videos are doing well. So we appreciate all the views and all the likes and all the comments. So thank you.
thank you. Have a great night, guys.